So while we're waiting for Anthony to put in an appearance or not, I thought I'd just sort of do a little recap on. So while we're waiting, oh, hang on, I better mute that. Put in an appearance or not, I thought I'd just sort of do a little recap. Okay, so back to here. Hopefully that won't echo again, and we can zoom in. So the big pin in Glasgow is because I was just responding to another rather silly video, probably even more silly than one of Anthony's actually, which is saying something. Anyway, the whole Isle of Man issue revolves around Anthony's observation from this location here, which is St. Bees on the northwest coast of England, near the Lake District and close to Whitehaven and Workington. And Anthony was located at this point here and taking shots out across the Irish Sea, or taking video out across the Irish Sea, and he could see the Isle of Man, which is here. And he claimed that he could also see Ireland, because he claimed that the Isle of Man ended in this location, which it does, when in fact he was looking at a location in this area just here, which is as you can see from the relief map on Google Earth, you can see that this is quite high land, and it then goes down to very low land, and then there's a little bit more slightly higher land here. And you can see very clearly from looking at the profile of the Isle of Man, looking from this direction, that the point where he says the Isle of Man ends is actually this part here, near to the town of Ramsey, these hills here, and that there is an area which is invisible below the horizon, and then there are some small areas up towards this end of the island which are visible again. But Anthony was completely fooled by this and was utterly convinced that what he was really seeing was he was looking across here past the northern tip of the Isle of Man, all the way to some hills here in Ireland. Meanwhile, completely ignoring the fact that there were some even taller hills and mountains here in Ireland, which, given his claim of a flat Earth and the low level of this particular bit of land, he should be able to see these towering. If it was a genuinely flat Earth, should be able to see these mountains towering above the end of the Isle of Man, as he thought it was. But of course, it wasn't the Isle of Man. It wasn't Ireland at all, towering above any part of the Isle of Man, or even to the north of the Isle of Man. It was just some low hills here. It's not difficult to get some impression of what those low hills are like by going down to a ground level view and panning around, and there we have it. So we have the highest areas of the Isle of Man. Snaefell, I believe it's called, is somewhere here, and there's a couple of other peaks, and they sort of lie behind each other. And then you have this sharp drop in altitude or height here, which Anthony saw in his video and claimed that this was the end of the Isle of Man. But of course, the Isle of Man actually continues. After a very low flat section, it rises up again towards the north end, and it drops down again much lower, and there's a lighthouse on the end here, which is quite useful for identification purposes. So that's the sort of backstory to the whole thing. And Anthony has claimed that I'm lying, making stuff up, doing all sorts of things, and he's quite wrong, of course. Okay, Gio's just posted in the chat, says he Skyped him and he's on his way back from London, so he can't do it. Well, never mind, maybe one day Anthony will actually back up his claims, and we'll see whether he can show that what is abundantly clear simply from looking on Google Earth. Well, that won't work if I'm not sharing my screen, will it? Abundantly clear on Google Earth is indeed the case. And that is, and the Isle of Man looks like this. High peaks, long, gradually sloping section, then a much steeper section down to almost sea level. This area here is just 10, 15 meters above sea level and is invisible from, how far away is it? 20, 30 miles, something like that. And oh, there goes my telephone. So that area disappears behind the horizon from St. Bees, but the hills to the north side can in fact be seen. So, given that Gio has got in touch with Anthony and has found out that he is unavailable, then we'll have to try another time. So I'll probably stop this hangout now because I do have work to do, even though the clients who were supposed to be arriving this afternoon haven't turned up. I've had to cancel. So I'm going to go and do something far more useful with my time than hanging around waiting for Anthony. So thanks for popping in, and Gio, thanks very much for Skyping Anthony. The last 5 or 6 times I've sent Skype messages to Anthony, they've been completely ignored. So I'm assuming that he has blocked me or is just not prepared to respond to me on Skype. I don't know why. Okay, thanks, Gio. All right, and we're going to shut this down now. Okay.